And welcome to the Citi Prime News, which is live from our studios at number 11 Dr. Morton Loop in Adabraka, Accra. The news is live across the globe on citinewsroom.com, Citi 97.3 FM on Facebook, and CityTube on YouTube. I am Wilma Obobi-Sakoman, and this afternoon I'm here with...
I'm Caleb Kuda.
Coming up, NPP youth in the Ashanti region begin tearing all posters and campaign materials of Alan Kyerematen after he resigned from the party to contest as an independent candidate for the upcoming 2024 elections. Meanwhile, the party will later this afternoon officially respond to the resignation of Mr. Kyerematen. Also coming up, with less than a week to the end of the limited voters registration exercise, leadership of the NPP and NDC want Electoral Commission to address concerns of long queues at various registration centres.
The obvious thing we affect is an extension of date to enable the queues. Because once people are in queues and they have traveled far away to come to the district capitals, the reasonable thing is get them registered.
We need to do more on mobilization of the people to get out to register. That is the more key thing that we have.
Still ahead, government fails to meet its 7-day deadline to establish a temporary connection for vehicles following the collapse of the Dolly Bridge at Bole in the Savannah region. And later, disappointed residents of Ashanti region threatened to stage series of protests to demand the resumption of work on all stalled projects like the Kumasi Central Market redevelopment project.
Our people keep pushing that if we would want to go diplomatically and the government is not listening to us, then we will have to take to the streets so that somebody sees us, somebody hears us. So as we talk with you right now, we are still dealing with the police to give us dates when we can demonstrate so that the government will hear us and know that we are in need.
Stay tuned as we bring you details of all that and more on the Citi Prime News, which is also live across the country on a number of affiliate stations. We'll start off in the Western region because we're live on Premier 100.5 FM and Beach 105.5 FM, both in Takoradi in the Bono region. We're on Greener 95.9 FM in Sunyang. In the Ashanti region, we're live on Orange 107.9 FM in Kumasi. In the Eastern region, we're on Right 90.1 FM in Somanya. In the Volta region, we're live on Holy 98.5 FM in Aflao. In the Northern region, we're on Dasuma 99.1 FM in Yendi. In the Upper East, we're on Word 88.3 FM in Zuarungu. And in the Upper West region, we're on Buglet Radio 88.6 FM in Wa.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
Many thanks for joining us this afternoon. We'll settle for the details of our stories now. The leadership of the New Patriotic Party in the Ashanti region has directed all constituency chairpersons in all 47 constituencies to promptly remove all posters, banners and other campaign materials associated with the former Trade and Industry Minister Alan Kyerematen from their party offices. This decision comes in the wake of Alan Kyerematen's resignation from the NPP. In the memorandum signed by Bernard Entry-Boisiako, the Ashanti regional chairman of the NPP, addressed to all constituency chairpersons in the Ashanti region, he emphasized that Mr. Kyerematen's promotional materials no longer hold relevance within the party offices due to his resignation. Meanwhile, members of the New Patriotic Party in the Ashanti region, they have begun removing, following that directive, they have begun removing posters of former Minister of Trade and Industry, Alan Kyerematen, from the various party offices. We'll go over the phone lines to speak to our Ashanti regional correspondent, Edward Opong-Mafu, who's been monitoring this, to tell us more. Edward, many thanks for your time this afternoon. Now, what has been the reaction of the party leadership in the region on Alan's decision?
So, Wilma, the message from the party's leadership is simple. They're saying that they don't want the party members to entertain or associate themselves with Mr. Alan Kyerematen in any way. And they're also giving us the directive that what anything at all that will have to just associate the party with Mr. Alan Kyerematen should also be taken away. And so, based on that directive, they are asking party members to distance themselves from the former trade minister in all forms. And so, these party members have indeed started complying with this directive. And so, various party officers, they have begun removing posters or other things that have to do with Mr. Kyerematen from the party. And so that's the directive, and indeed they have started complying with it.
Now, as a stronghold of the party, what has been the reaction or sentiments of the residents in the region?
Well, Wilma, it has been divided. There are some people that we have interacted with who are party members. In fact, some of them are of the view that they believe it is the turn of Mr. Alan Kyerematen, and so the party should have actually gone by some of the assurances that according to them, the party had given Mr. Kyerematen some assurances, and they feel that based on how the party has been over the years, its natural progression, Mr. Kyerematen should have been the flag bearer. And so some people are strongly of the view that once Mr. Kyerematen goes that way as an independent candidate, they are going to toe that direction and go with him. And so that's the view of the cross-section of the party members and the general public here in Kumasi. But others who are also of the view that it is not the best right that once you are a member of the party and once there was a time ago that people felt that you were going to be the next in line, so automatically you have to be the next in line. So some of the view that the party structures have to be followed, and if you submit yourself to follow all these processes and it does not go your way, it does not mean you should break away. And so some people are also saying that irrespective of the fact that hitherto they had declared their support for Mr. Kyerematen, they are not going to toe that line of supporting him this time around that he's going as an independent candidate. So basically, it's an issue of being divided. And the people, that's party members and other people who also say that they are just sympathizers, not necessarily stance party members, they feel that, well, that shouldn't be the way to go. And so once he goes as an independent, they will not support him. And so that's how it has been in the region so far.
Well, thank you so much for that update. That was Edward Opong Mafu, who is the Middle Belt Bureau Chief for Citi News. Caleb has other stories.
Now, the governing New Patriotic Party, NPP, is expected to announce its next course of action following Alan Kyerematen's resignation. Mr. Kyerematen, in his resignation, accused the leadership of the party of working against the interests of its members and strategically and tactically skewing the presidential primaries in favor of one candidate. The NPP issued a statement signed by the General Secretary, Justin Kudia, stating that it would address all the issues raised by Mr. Kyerematen and announce a new way forward.
NPP has taken notice of the unfortunate decision of Mr. Alan John Kwadwo Kyerematen, a long-standing member of the party, to forfeit his membership and contest as an independent presidential candidate in the 2024 general elections. The party's leadership is by this medium urging the rank and file of their great party to remain calm and await an official address by the party to Mr. Kyerematen's resignation on Tuesday, September 26, 2023, at the party's headquarters. May God bless our homeland Ghana and make the New Patriotic Party great and strong.
City News is Adrat Nkrumah with excerpts of a statement from the NPP. Now, the leadership of the two main political parties, the National Democratic Congress, NDC, and the New Patriotic Party, NPP, have called on the Electoral Commission, EC, to address issues of long queues at the various registration centers with less than a week to the end of the ongoing limited voters registration exercise. The EC began the exercise across its 268 district offices on September 12 and is expected to end the exercise next Monday. With less than a week to the end of the exercise, the opposition believes an extension of the date will make up for the lost time during the initial stages of the registration. Mustafa Gbande is Deputy General Secretary of the NDC.
So far, so good. Used to the situation now. since EC refused to do anything about it. There are places that we still record challenges operationally in terms of network challenges and then also electricity, particularly in OT region. What is very surprising is that the Electoral Commission have decided to withdraw some hands and some machines despite the continuous long queues that we have and the traffic that we have as far as the registration is concerned. That is the only challenge that we have now. One would have expected that as much as the queues remain very long and the traffic remain very tight because of the numbers, we would rather add more machines to speed up the process. But rather the EC is rather withdrawing machines that are supposed to be augmenting the workforce, and that's the difficulty we have understanding the rationale behind EC's action to withdraw this machine. Well, the obvious thing to do, or we expect, is an extension of date to enable the queues. Because once people are in queues and they have traveled far away to come to the district capital, the reasonable thing is get them registered. And so we expect a preparation to extend. And to what date are we expecting these extensions so that we can cover up at least the people who have shown interest and are in the queues so far. That is what we expect from the Electoral Commission going forward.
Deputy General Secretary of the NDC, Mustafa Gbandi, for the governing New Patriotic Party, they will use all available means to get more people to register. Professor Haruna Mohammed is the Deputy General Secretary of the NDC. NPP.
The NPP have followed the process of the limited registration as started by the Electoral Commission. We have made some observations as the registration exercise went on, and we have had a review of our own meeting with respect to that particular registration. The last part of this registration is something that we have given much attention, and all national officers have been assigned to their various regions to monitor. As I speak with you, I just returned from the Northeast region, and we'll be getting back to the region after I touch down in Accra today, go back to finish up the last batch of the limited registration. Yes, the numbers that have come out are very encouraging. But we need to do more on mobilization of the people to get out to register. That is the more key thing that we have to focus as a political party. We have also observed some of this with the difficulties in some of the machines, the long queues, and the distance that the people come from, and in terms of the cost involved. All these matters are something that we have all observed. We have also observed that there are more people that are coming out for this particular exercise, and the machines that are used for the registration are few in most of the instances. So we call on the Electoral Commission to add more machines to the centers to be able to cover the rest of the people who are very interested to exercise their right to register.
Professor Haruna Mohammed is a Deputy General Secretary of the NPP.
Now, the Okaikwe North Municipal Assembly says it is collaborating with the Department of Urban Roads to fix a bridge which caved in at Akwetiman Pentecost Church during Friday's downpour. The partial collapse of the bridge contributed to severe flooding in the area. MC for Okaikwe North, Boy Laye, who spoke to Citi News, says a new and enhanced bridge is expected to be completed in 1 month.
Yesterday, we give the Urban Roads a full report on what has happened there. So then they also followed it up. They came on site and also realized that yes, something quickly has to be done. And so yesterday, the instruction was that we closed that road, and they started working on the drawings, because they, according to them, they need to change the whole architecture of the place. And so the instruction is that we close that road. So if you go there now, you see that our men are there trying to close the road. And so we have made an alternative route to the other place. You have to go through the back of the school. There's another road that you have to go through the Ganoff, come through Lapa, your plant site, and then you can go. And so that is what we have done. And so I'm sure by Thursday, I'm sure the drawings will be ready for work to commence. So that is the arrangement so far.
You heard the MC for Okaikwe North, Boy Laye. Now we'll go to the Savannah region, where government has failed to meet its 7-day deadline to establish a temporary bridge to connect individuals to other communities following the collapse of the Dolly Bridge at Boli in the Savannah region. We'll go over the phone lines to speak to our Savannah regional correspondent, Richard Fogo, on the situation. Good afternoon, Fogo. Many thanks for your time. Tell us the state of the bridge as we speak.
Good afternoon. The stage of the bridge is as it was after it collapsed on Sunday, 17th September. The only difference is that a lot of boulders have been brought to the site by the contractor. If you go there now, you will see a lot of boulders on both sides of the bridge. But actual work is yet to start. I also saw quite a number of equipment transported by the constructor to the site, but to the disappointment of many people whose livelihood and life depend on this road, actual work is yet to begin on any temporal or permanent solution to the broken down bridge. So many people still have to rely on the long route from
And we seem to have lost Fogo, but we're still working the lines to see how we can get through to him. But we'll move on to some other stories in the meantime. A medical oncologist at the Tamale Teaching Hospital says cancer cases reported in northern Ghana often reach the hospital at advanced stages, posing significant challenges for treatment. According to Abdul Rashid Timtoni, cultural and religious beliefs combined with the use of herbal remedies contribute to a high rate of treatment among cancer patients, tragically resulting in loss of life. He made this known to Citi News during the inauguration of the Nelly Oncology Center donated to the Tamale Teaching Hospital to serve cancer patients.
People have different misconceptions about cancer and they don't come early because of those misconceptions. Even people who start treatment along the way, they may have to resort to herbal medication and increasing the default rates in our patient delivery care. Another obstacle will have to do with the distance because we have a lot of patients coming away from Tamale at the Upper East region, Upper West region, even in Bono region. We have patients coming from those places. So patients come and then possibly when you assess, if they are unable to take the treatment, they have to go back home without taking the treatment. And this has a lot of financial burden and they become frustrated and they finally default and then leading to high rate of deaths among cancer patients. Our facilities see a lot of cancer cases, but the most we see here are the breast cancer cases. So I encourage every woman, if she notices a lump in her breast, she should report to us early so that we can aim for cure for this disease because it is actually curable if we report early.
You had Abdul Rashid Timponi, who is a medical oncologist at the Tamale Teaching Hospital. Then we'll go back to our earlier story on the Dolly Bridge, that government has failed to meet its 7-day deadline to establish a temporary bridge to connect individuals to other communities. We lost contact with our Savannah regional correspondent, but we have him online now, and we'll go back to him to give us details on the situation of the bridge. Richard, thanks again for joining us. We lost you from where we were speaking to you on the bridge. Please tell us what else you can tell us.
Yeah, like I was saying, the situation is not different except that the contractor has brought in a lot of boulders and equipment to the site. But to the disappointment of many people whose life depend on this road, actual work on the bridge or any temporary solution is yet to begin. So commuters will have to rely on the long distance between Techima through to Fufulso and then Sola to be able to connect from the south of the country and the upper west region. If you go to the Bolet towns, you see a lot of long vehicles with goods parked there on both sides of the road. And it's even causing some traffic even in the Bolet township. So the situation is bad. If you go to the bridge itself, it's like a mini market where you see a lot of selling. People are now planning to put there and selling because commuters around that area have to cross the water through using boats. And they take a lot of time to wait for their turn because the boats are just three. And so sometimes when they are picking a motorbike or carrying goods, they can't carry that with human beings. So the situation is still very, very stressful, and that the deadline has not been met by government. Now, we don't know when the actual work will begin and whether they can do it within a week or how long it will take for the temporary solution to be found.
Tell us a bit about the fares on this, the boat rides that people are taking.
It's very expensive. If you sit on the boat, in less than 2 minutes you cross because it's not a very large river. But you pay 10 Ghana cedis. Before that, to move from Bole to Sola, which is about 30 kilometers, commuters were paying just 15 cedis for that stretch of a journey. But now you get to the bridge and you pay 10 cedis as a human being to just cross. Then you pay another 15 cedis to now go to Sola and to continue with your journey. So that is very expensive. If you are using a motorbike, to get to where the bridge can pick, the boat can pick you is very steep. So about 3 people have to help to push the motorbike down. Now those people will take you 20 cedis. The boat will take you 30 cedis plus yourself. So to use for you and your motorbike to cross the bridge using the boat, you spend a minimum of 60 Ghana cedis just to cross. So it's very expensive, and that's how they charge for goods that are as heavy as a motorbike to get you across that water body.
Fogo, would move away from the Dolly Bridge and go to the flooding situation in Buipe. We hear electricity supply has been cut off in Buipe in the Savannah region following the torrential rains there. The flooding situation has also worsened since the rains began almost 2 weeks ago. Give us a bit of detail on that too. We seem to have lost Richard Fogo on that, but Caleb has a statement on flooding for us.
Yes, I do, Wilman. This is from the Ministry of Works and Housing, and it is saying that it has noted with concern the increasing risk of flooding in the national capital and other cities. It says the widespread flooding experienced recently in Greater Accra region has impacted many people adversely. Livelihoods have been lost, properties destroyed, and infrastructure damaged. Our hearts go out to all affected persons. They add, Ghana, like many countries around the world, is experiencing the devastating effects of climate change, which have exacerbated the flooding challenges we face. Now, it goes on to say that it is entreating the Metropolitan, Municipal and District Assemblies, MMDAs, to diligently deliver on their respective development control mandate by preventing the development of buildings in waterways, wetlands, drainage buffers, and floodplains, among others. Such actions only exacerbate the risk of flooding and put lives in danger. Furthermore, the ministry it is inviting the Ministry of Roads and Highways and its agencies, the Ghana Highway Authority and Urban Roads, to pay more attention to roadside drains and ensure they function effectively. It argues that this will help prevent drainage blockages that contribute to flooding during heavy rains.
Well, you're still listening to the Citi Prime News live from our studios at Adabraka in Accra. Still to come in the bulletin, disappointed residents of Ashanti region, they've threatened to stage series of protests to demand the resumption of work on stalled projects like the Kumasi Central Market redevelopment project. We'll bring you details of this and others shortly. Do stay with us.
News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
Using a condom will protect you and your partner from HIV, STIs, and unplanned pregnancy. Condoms are an effective way for protection against HIV infection. Don't take risks. Use a condom every time. Always come prepared.
This advert is brought to you by the Ghana AIDS Commission and Ghana Health Service. It's time for the ultimate corporate sports gathering, the Citi Business Olympics 2023. Get ready to unleash your competitive spirit and showcase your athletic prowess as we bring together the best of the best from the corporate world. From traditional sports like seven-a-side football, basketball, sack race, and volleyball to unique challenges like tug of war and arm wrestling, there's no shortage of excitement and adrenaline pumping action. So gather your colleagues, lace up your sneakers, and get ready to compete in the Citi Business Olympics. It's time to show off your skills, build connections, and have a blast in the ultimate corporate sports extravaganza. To register your company to participate, call 0205 973 973 or 0558 973 973 now. Which company will emerge as champion and which CEO will win the Ultimate CEO's Challenge at the Citi Business Olympics 2023? We'll find out on 30th September 2023. Venue, Eden Heights Sports Complex. Wager, time 8 a.m. The Citi Business Olympics 2023 is powered by Citi TV with support from Citi FM and proudly sponsored by Lozati Lozenges from Unicom Chemist Limited, EK Brand Consult, Blue Jeans Energy Drink, Pollard Insurance, Voltic Ghana Limited, Pan Yogo, and Universal Motors.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
You're welcome back. Now, a group of civil society organizations advocating for the removal of taxes on sanitary pads has expressed support for the Member of Parliament for Medina, Francis Xavier Sosu's proposal to introduce a private member's bill to eliminate these taxes. The bill aims to amend the customs tariffs and levies to remove the 15% VAT Act 2022 Act 1082 and reclassify menstrual hygiene products as zero-rated essential social goods. The group has called on Parliament to take action to eliminate these taxes, which have contributed to the high cost of sanitary products. Spokesperson for the group, Amma Pratt, spoke to Citi News.
I mean, not only is it in line with what we are asking for, he takes it a step further, right? So he wants to cast this in stone so that not only does it apply to this administration, but all future administrations, so nobody can try this again. And ultimately, that's what we've been yearning for. All of these protests and citizen and advocacy is just so that these taxes go away. See the commitment. Because, you see, in this country, we talk a lot, and we say all the right things. And yet somehow all the wrong things get done. So you want it. Well, here we go. Let's make it happen.
You had spokesperson for a group of civil society organizations demanding government's removal of taxes on sanitary pads, Amma Pratt.
Well, let's go to the Ashanti region because some residents there have called on the government to resume work on all abandoned projects in Kumasi. Now, several critical projects in Kumasi, including Phase 2 of the Mother and Baby Unit at the Komfo-Anokye Teaching Hospital, Phases 2 and 3 of the Kumasi International Airport Expansion Project, Phase 2 of the Ketia Market Redevelopment, and some Sino-Hydro Road projects have all been put on hold due to lack of funding. In the following report, Citi News' Ashanti regional correspondent Fatih Aminu Ibrahim, inhabitants have intensified calls for the completion of these projects.
Since December last year, several critical projects in Kumasi, including Phase 2 of the Ketia Central Market Redevelopment, the Mother and Baby Unit at the Komfo-Anokye Teaching Hospital, CATH, Phases 2 and 3 of the Kumasi International Airport Expansion and some Sino-Hydro projects have all been put on hold due to lack of government funding. This development has left inhabitants deeply worried, with many lamenting that the Ashanti region has been neglected by the ruling government despite being its stronghold.
These projects like Mother and Baby Unit at Komfo-Anokye, Airport Extension, KJTIA, the government should resume at work so that every kind of project should be done as early as possible, so that people can even use those projects as a marketplace like KJTIA It's a very big project, it's like the new one. People have been already occupying there. It's not enough space for the people to work within. We need a lot of space. Like KJTIA is a big place for a lot of people to come and work. So it's a very good and nice project. The government should resume at work for the people, for the work to be done.
Because those abandoned products, buildings and stuff that is around here are so many. The government come in, looking at the taxes and the levy and all that has been levied over us is plenty. And it's supposed to be something that is supposed to help us do all these abandoned products, you understand? So when it comes to it, there has to be a check on it. Like the government should come into consideration and think about these things.
Regarding phase 2 of the KJTIA Central Market Redevelopment Project, for instance, traders who have plans to occupy these spaces upon its completion have repeatedly stressed the need for urgent action to resume construction as they are growing increasingly concerned about the delays. According to the traders, several engagements with relevant authorities on when work will resume on the projects have been unsuccessful. They are thus asking the government to provide clear timelines for when construction will resume. Emilia Kofi, Secretary of Combined Kumasi Central Market Traders Union, has been speaking exclusively to Citi News.
The union have had a couple of meetings with the mayor specifically to know exactly what is happening there. We met him after the press conference. We met him in July, and he gave us the dates as the time after the IMF funds come in. Unfortunately, after that, we have still realized that work is not in progress. Work is not commencing. We have had to deal with them severally. Where the diplomatic interactions have to take place, we think we have done our bit. We have been to them, we have listened to what they have to say. Now all we want to see is work resume. When work resumes, we are assured that in the shortest possible time, completion is just around the corner. We can go and start our businesses. But until we get to that point, you cannot say anything that will tell me that I am going to get to the place soon. And for how long are we going to remain in the house jobless? We can't stay in the house forever. So they need to give us dates. They need to see, we need to see them working, and then we know that indeed what they have said they are doing.
She further stated that they are demanding authorities to prioritize this project, and if that is not done, they will soon embark on a demonstration once they finish modalities with the police on which routes to take.
We've been to the mayor's office a couple of times to inquire, because you just can't demonstrate when you don't have any concrete information. We went there and we were assured that when the IMF funds come in, we'll be allowed, work would commence. Unfortunately, we have realized that even though the IMF funding is in, no work is being done. And there are quite a number of us who were evacuated from the place. So our people keep pushing that if we would want to go diplomatically and the government is not listening to us, then we will have to take to the streets so that somebody sees us, somebody hears us. So as we talk with you right now, we are still dealing with the police to give us dates when we can demonstrate so that the government will hear us and know that we are in need. I would want to say that the government should complete the project for us within the shortest possible time. This time we are not pleading. We are not begging the government to do it. We are demanding because we feel that it is our right. If the government could not work on the project, he knew he could not complete it, he shouldn't have touched the market.
Reacting to the mounting concerns, the mayor of Kumasi, Samuel Pine, stated that while he cannot provide an exact date for the resumption of work, based on discussions with the Finance Ministry and the Ministry of Local Government, he anticipates that work on these projects will restart in the near future.
As part of the government's debt restructuring program, certain projects and certain international funded projects were put on hold. And KGTR, the Phase 2 Central Market, the airport, and the maternity block of Konfanoche, including Sino-Hydro projects within the region were all affected. But I know that about some few weeks ago, the contractor, the name rhymes, the contractor is the contractor. They were on site with the project consultants, officials from Finance Ministry and Local Government Ministry. They've come to do comprehensive study of the delay and how the next funding arrangement. And I know pretty soon they're going to come back on site and start and continue with the work.
Now, inhabitants within Kumasi say their fear is that if government does not release funds for work to resume on these projects, they will be abandoned like some other projects that are scattered around. Ostinis, Fati, Amin Ibrahim, Kumasi.
And back here in the studios of Citi FM, I am Wilma Obobisa Coleman here with Caleb Kuja. Some stories we've been bringing you so far. The NPP youth in the Ashanti region, they have begun tearing all posters and campaign materials of Alan Kyerematen after he resigned from the party to contest as an independent candidate for the upcoming 2024 elections. Well, Caleb has some other stories for us.
Yes, I do. Well, the Teacher Trainees Association of Ghana, TTAG, is appealing to the government to urgently address infrastructural deficit challenges across all 46 colleges of education in the country. The group says the colleges of education are currently grappling with infrastructure challenges after the government converted the colleges of education to degree awarding institutions. They want government to thus expedite the construction of the 300-bed capacity hostel in colleges of education while also collaborating with other stakeholders to address the issue. President of the Teacher Trainees Association of Ghana, Jefta Nana Kwame, has been speaking to City News after the group held its 27th General Assembly under the theme Shaping the Future of Teacher Training and Education, Prioritizing Infrastructure Development.
The number of students who will be using the limited facilities we have as an infrastructure in the College of Education is going up now, which is not being able to meet the standard as in the sizes of the hostel facilities we have in the College of Education. So it is really affecting us in so many ways. This led to the introduction of the blended learning, where people call the online learning. That is mixed with the face-to-face. Students will come to school to do 6 weeks, go home to do another 6 weeks online. And it was not effective. I think stakeholders reviewed it, and now we reverted to this double track or double shift, which is currently in progress. And this one too is really giving students and stakeholders headache, because we are doing limited number of weeks, only 12 weeks of contact hours as compared to 16 weeks previously. Because of the double track, students will come to school to study only 6 weeks, and they will spend close to 3 months at home without doing anything before you come back to do another 6 weeks. What it means is that the period that you'll be spending close to 3 months outside campus, your different level will also be on campus to be doing 6 weeks before you realize the semester has ended and you've not had enough consistency in having real time to meet your teachers.
Now, Wilma, Jefta Nana Kwame further called for an increase in teacher trainee allowances while also urging stakeholders to develop a policy document to ensure its sustainability.
The allowance has come to really help trainees and elevate us from where we were to a different standard as it stands now. However, we believe that the amount should be reconsidered, because we were receiving 400 cedis, which was partitioned for 200 cedis to come to the students and the remaining to go to the principals to be used to feed us. Now, recently, that was last year, the principals met the minister and then presented their request before him to increase the feeding component for them, which, to our surprise, resulted in a decrement in the component that comes to us. For that goes to the principals to be increased. Nonetheless, we believe it's the same thing that comes to, because the feeding is for us. But we expected the ministry to rather call for an increment in the amount of the allowance instead of decreasing the component that comes to us. Because 400 cedis that we were receiving in 2017 as compared to 400 cedis now, you and I can tell that the system we find ourselves in at the moment, the value of 400 cedis in 2017 or 2018 is nowhere comparable to the value of 400 cedis this time round. So why is the government not doing something about it? We believe that we have seen increments in national service personnel allowances.
Jeff Chandana Kwame is president of the Teacher Trainees Association of Ghana.
Oh, you're still listening to the Citi Prime News live from our studios at Adabraka in Accra with me, Wilma Bobisa Coleman and Caleb Kuda. Still to come in the bulletin, the countdown is on for the biggest corporate sporting event, the Citi Business Olympics. We'll bring you more on what some companies have been saying in anticipation for the event this weekend. Do stay tuned. We'll bring you that shortly.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
With the complexities of issues happening around us on a daily basis, it's the hard-hitting conversations and probing questions of the point of view that teases apart the twisted entanglements of politics and governance, as well as religious and social discourse. The Point of View brings you the policymakers and duty bearers and drills down to the very bottom of issues. The Point of View airs every Monday and Wednesday at 9 p.m. only on Citi TV.
Yes, the Presbyterian Boys Secondary School Presec hits the big 8-5 as part of the 85th anniversary celebrations. Presbyterian Boys Secondary School and the Odadia Global Association presents the Presec at 85 Grand Durbar on the theme Building Upon a Legacy of Excellence. Come experience the biggest gathering of students, staff, and Odadias. Date Saturday, 30th September 2023. Venue the Presec School grounds at 10 a.m. sharp. The chairman for the occasion, the Right Honorable Professor Odadiep Mike Okwe, the former Speaker of Parliament, and our special guest of honor, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, President of the Republic of Ghana. The dress code: come in your Presec at 85th anniversary cloth. Since 1938, we've been consistent in building upon a legacy of excellence for Mother Ghana, Africa, and the world.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
Yeah, welcome back. Now, the ongoing issue of maternal deaths continues to deplete the country's human resources. Citi News' Beverly Langdon engages with healthcare professionals to gain insight into the situation and also speaks with mothers about their personal experiences.
In recent years, the maternal mortality rate has been a cause for concern. Over the past 5 years, more than 4,000 pregnant women have lost their lives due to maternal mortality. Data from the Ghana Health Service reveals that in 2018, 875 pregnant women lost their lives. This number declined to 838 in 2019 and further decreased to 776 in 2020. However, there was a troubling increase in 2021 with 875 deaths reported. Fortunately, 2022 saw a decrease with 805 recorded deaths. What factors might be contributing to these tragic losses? Perpetua Ofori Ampofo, the president of the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association, shares her insight.
We can look at hypertensive disorders that can cause maternal mortality. In that group, you can have pre-eclampsia or eclampsia. It's all about high blood pressure. And when you are pregnant, usually from the 5th month onwards, it can happen suddenly with the blood pressure going up. It's termed pre-eclampsia. And it needs to be checked. Medications are given to control it. If you are not aware and you are just living with it, it can cause death because the BP can go very high. It can result in seizures, and the woman can even go into a coma, and death can also occur.
Additionally, apart from the health-related issues and incidents of abortion, some pregnant women opt for traditional remedies and home birth instead of seeking medical attention at hospitals.
It is not advisable to seek care at home while pregnant. My sister went into labor and died from complications. The child did not survive.
Mia minua so okoye awo so wamba ofrim oni akwara ni nyina omufrim.
Where I stay and the hospital is not all that far. So I usually go to my antenatal on time. So at time of delivery, when I went, it wasn't time, so they need to give me first labor. So they took care of me very well.
Ona me hospital ba sa time ne de na aye na ahaw bia ni ho.
I used to visit the hospital while pregnant. I received good care at the time. I'm however not sure how the current nurses treat their patients.
In
urban areas, the availability of healthcare services plays a significant role in women's decision to seek medical care. However, the situation is quite different for those in rural areas.
You'll be lucky to have a CHIPS compound where if you are lucky, you have a midwife who is stationed there. And that midwife is taking care of that community. One thing that is also lacking in these areas is that although the professional may be there and all of that, they may not have the necessary equipment and other logistics they need, especially with emergency medications that they need to stop bleeding, to decrease pain and all of that. They may not have all those readily available there. There may not be ambulances in those areas. How do you transport the woman from where the problem has been identified to the next big facility? Some commute on motorbikes, some are carried on trucks and all of that. And all those things cause a lot of delays that at the end of the day also contribute to the death.
The National Health Insurance Scheme was originally designed to cover all expenses related to pregnancy, but cardholders report having to pay for some services.
Because
The health insurance doesn't really help us. We spend a lot of money when you visit the hospital. We are often told the card doesn't cover some drugs, so we end up paying for some.
I used the NHIS card while pregnant, but the only medication that was free was paracetamol. You are told that the hospital does not have the others, so you are asked to buy from another pharmacy. I tried my best to get all the medicines I needed.
Furthermore, the shortage of healthcare professionals in rural areas contribute to maternal mortality rate. To address this issue, sector organizations have proposed incentives to encourage healthcare professionals to accept postings in rural regions.
We know the Minister of Health, per the last report we received, has taken this to Cabinet and awaiting Cabinet's approval for it to be implemented. So let's implement it. It may be costly, but at the end of the day, it saves lives. It will save lives and reduce drastically maternal mortality. So let's do it so that we can attract more professionals, doctors, nurses, midwives, a lot of them, to those rural, underserved areas to work.
Until these measures take effect, pregnant women are strongly encouraged to utilize healthcare professionals and visit healthcare facilities.
What our midwives keep on doing is to educate mothers to the prenatal pregnancy classes. That is why when you are pregnant, we tell you don't stay at home. You need to go to the hospital. Go to the hospital. There are periodic checks that you need to go for. And as part of those periodic checks, there are education that are given. And some facilities even organize pregnancy classes where you attend as a pregnant woman with your husband. So all these classes ensures that you are well educated on the signs of ill health that may come up.
The report was filed by Citi News' Beveling, London.
The managing director of Tropical Cables Ghana, Martin Mensah, is urging the government and stakeholders to take necessary steps to enable Ghanaian businesses to realize their full potential and contribute to the nation's growth. Speaking at a ceremony to unveil its newest depot at Ashie in Accra, Mr. Mensah said the new depot is expected to function as a central hub for the distribution of tropical cables, diverse range of products including electrical wires, telecommunication cables, and related accessories. The unveiling ceremony was attended by industry stakeholders and marked a significant milestone in the company's growth trajectory.
Cable manufacture is one of the sectors in which Ghana has more than adequate capacity to supply all its needs internally. So it then begs the question why we allow the import of cables at all. If all the cables in Ghana were made by the players in the Ghanaian sector, we will still have extra capacity to do more. We have the potential to develop those markets and make them into export markets. But because we have very unfettered access to our markets by international manufacturers of cables, we are unable to compete. In the cable business, the biggest cost item is the metal in the cable. In Ghana, we have direct access to aluminium, straight from Valco. We are competitive. The other material, which is copper, is internationally traded, so no country has an advantage in the price of copper. What we pay for copper here in Ghana is the same that a Turkish company, a Chinese company, or an Indian company. And so I always say that cable manufacture is one of the few areas where we can assess and evaluate the international competitiveness of our country without any built-in or unanticipated biases.
Martin Mensah, Managing Director, Tropical Cables Ghana.
Now, the Member of Parliament for the Medina constituency, Francis Xavier Susu, has called on the President to, as a matter of urgency, assent to the bill that prohibits the accusations and branding of another person as a witch. This follows the alleged shooting of a 60-year-old woman in Janga in the West Mampusi district over witchcraft allegations. Speaking to Citi News, Mr. Susu said the country should not await the loss of more lives before action is taken on the bill.
Are we waiting? How many lives more do you want to lose before we take action on the bill? How many more women? I always say that if any of these women were maybe the mother of some influential person in society, some influential pastor, some influential member of parliament, some influential member in government, would we treat it the same way? And so for me, that is where the problem is. And consistently, I think the value we place on life is so low as a people. And so sometimes it's just quite difficult. You see the things happening all around us and you see the major social problems around us. It just comes to me as if we really do not really value life as much as we claim we do. So if we indeed value life, then we must take an action.
You heard the Member of Parliament for Medina, Francis Xavier Susu, there.
The Bank of Ghana has reviewed plans to hold quarterly meetings with all regulators in the financial sector to monitor companies and individuals who attempt to exploit loopholes within the industry. This move aims to ensure the stability and security of the financial sector by preventing the activities of illegal financial institutions like Men's Gold. Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Idelson, highlighted that Men's Gold and similar entities have triggered significant reforms in the financial sector.
At least since the Men's Gold incident, we now have the Financial Stability Council. Financial Stability Council brings all the regulators together. Bank of Ghana, SEC, MPRA, National Insurance Commission. We have a quarterly meeting where we discuss, developments in the market. And we believe that that should help, deal with this issue about regulatory gaps, which people take advantage of. Because now all the regulators have a forum where they meet to discuss developments as they unfold.
Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison there.
The Graduate Students Association of Ghana, GRASAC, says many promises by the Scholarship Secretariat to release graduate bursaries have not been fulfilled. The association is owed 2-year arrears of bursaries despite the allocation of over 200 million cedis budget for the Scholarship Secretariat. The outgone president of GRASAC at the University of Ghana, Peter Mensah, is therefore appealing to various stakeholders to intervene for the matter to be resolved.
Graduate student bursary has not been paid by government, and it's across board, not just University of Ghana graduate students. All graduate students in the country, in the public universities, have not received their bursary, and that is what we are calling on the various stakeholders to intervene for the payment of this bursary that has been in arrears for 2 years.
Have you gotten in touch with the Scholarship Secretariat? If yes, what has been the official communication from the Scholarship Secretariat as to why they are unable to deliver on what they are supposed to do?
All institutional presidents met with the director of Scholarship Secretariat, Mr. Kingsley. Promises were made out of our engagement with him. We waited for some time, and then he didn't honor the promise. And then our president, national president, did follow up, and promises were equally made after the follow up. And we've been waiting for months now after our engagement with the Secretariat, and yet we've not had any positive result from them.
He also hinted of series of protests if the situation remains the same.
So the fact is, Martin Luther King once said that when promises made in negotiation fails, direct action follows, and then mostly it brings positive results. We are still only hoping that as we have put our issue into the media, the needed stakeholders would intervene. If there's no intervention, then we will have no cause than to hit the street and demand for what is due that is to them.
Peter Mensah is outgone president of the GRASAC for the University of Ghana.
The former Member of Parliament for Pandai, Kojo Teria Lekpalmo, has passed on. Kojo Teria Lekpalmo was first elected into Parliament during the 1992 general election on the ticket of the NDC. He was the Member of Parliament for the Pandai constituency in the northern region of Ghana from 1993 to 2013. The Parliament of Ghana, in a Facebook post, confirmed his death and condoled with the affected family.
Now, if your company is yet to register for the biggest annual corporate sports gathering, the Citi Business Olympics, you are certain to miss out on an experience. Over 60 companies, including DCI Microfinance, Stanbic Bank, GEPA, and Fair Afrique, are gathering up to compete in a variety of sporting activities, including basketball, sack race, seven-a-side football, volleyball, tug of war, and arm wrestling. The event is scheduled to take place at the Eden Heights Sports Complex in Wager on Saturday, September 30. The Corporate Affairs Officer at DCI Microfinance, Solomon Odusu, appearing on the Breakfast Daily on Citi TV, said they are ready to oust the defending champions.
We are doing 7.
Okay.
We are doing football.
Okay.
We are doing lawn tennis. We're doing Scrabble, video games, tennis.
Okay.
That's table tennis. We're also playing lime and spoon and then sack race.
Okay,
yes.
all right.
Basically that.
Okay. How many medals are you taking away?
Can I hear from my people? 7-7.
7-7.
You have from my people.
7 events, 7 medals.
That's all. This time we are being strategic, so we are not coming for everything. Key ones.
All right. Okay. Yes. Now let me ask you. Last year you were part of it. What was the experience like that you decided that this year you want to be part of it again?
Okay, so CBO offered us various opportunities. We're able to have fun. Our team was able to bond.
Yeah.
We're also able to connect with lots of people in our industry.
And so on. Yeah.
It was basically a good exercise for us. It was a good event, and then this year we are coming again for the same reasons and more.
Sounds exciting.
Yes.
Sounds exciting. Now we're looking at just 4 more days maximum. We are there at the Olympics.
There are some people who are sitting on the fences. Should we join? Should we not join? What do you have to say to them?
I'd say that they are missing out. Sometimes you are considering the money to register and all that, thinking about the benefits. But the benefits are things that are more qualitative.
Yeah.
And then, the quantitative bit also comes after. It's very good for your reputation, to even partner a media station like Citi. So it's good. They shouldn't sit on the fence. They shouldn't sit on the fence. They should just drop. And we'll be excited to welcome them and compete with them and beat them. I like that. Beat them, yes.
Solomon Adusu is the Corporate Affairs Officer at DCI Microfinance. Now, the Citi Business Olympics 2023 is powered by Citi TV with support from Citi FM and proudly sponsored by Lozati Lozenges from Unicom Chemist Limited, EK Brand Consult, Blue Jeans Energy Drink, Hollard Insurance, Voltigana Limited, Fun Yogo, and Universal Motors. And that's it for Citi Prime News, which has been live from our studios at Adabraka in Accra. For more news, you can log on to our website, citinewsroom.com. I am Wilma Ububi-Sakoman, and I did this with
Caleb Kuda.
Many thanks for doing the listening. Up next is the afternoon's edition of the Citi Business News. Have a good day.
Citi 97.3. More variety. Citi 97.3. Accra. Get the details. Every significant financial transaction, every market movement, and all the policies that affect your business. Citi Business News. Be informed.